In the name of the beloved Son, for the sake of the beloved community. Amen. I am the Reverend Carla Robinson, and I have the honor to be your Canon for Multicultural Ministry and Community Transformation. And I bring you greetings in this season of Easter from Bishop Melissa Skelton, our provisional bishop. She wanted me to tell you that she is praying for you as a congregation, and she asks that you continue to hold her in your prayers as well. So we've been in Easter, and it's been a strange ride. Doesn't feel strange to you? Well, maybe if we go back and take the whole ride together, you'll see some of the strangeness that I'm talking about. We begin Easter with clearly what has to be considered the big bang of the ministry of Jesus. It's the resurrection. We got angels, we got God's power displayed, and then we have mystery. Where is he? I don't know. I thought he was dead. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's the gardener. Maybe he's not. I've seen the Lord. Then week 2, we get a resurrection appearance of Jesus to his disciples. Not 1, but 2. We get a twofer on week 2, where Jesus appears to his disciples, reminds them that not even death can stop the plan of God from going forward, and you are a part of that plan. Week 3, we usually get another resurrection visit, and we do. A resurrection appearance, this time of Jesus on the road to Emmaus. And wham, smash, crash, he's here, he's gone, but he's revealed in the breaking of the bread. Then we come to week 4, and sudden change of course. No resurrection appearance. Instead, we flash back and Jesus is talking about sheep and shepherds. And as we scratch our head from that, then we get today, where we take another sudden turn and we're back in the upper room. It's Maundy Thursday, and there we are with Jesus. And we're going to be there through the end of Easter. Now, come on. That's a strange journey. But there's some method in the madness. There's some sense in what might feel a little crazy. We are taken back to the upper room. We're taken back to Maundy Thursday so that we see it from a different perspective. Usually when we're passing through Holy Week, we enter Maundy Thursday as the day before, the night on which he was betrayed, the night before he was handed over to suffering and death, the night before he died for us. In that light, it might feel like everything in the upper room was like a cram course for the disciples, Jesus trying to get everything into their heads before he dies. But that's not really what's going on when we come back to Maundy Thursday after the resurrection. Then suddenly that upper room looks a little different. When Jesus is talking about going to the Father, it's not just dying on the cross that he's talking about. He's talking about rising from the dead and ascending to God. It's one whole thing for Jesus, going to the Father. The way to the Father is death, resurrection, ascension. It's almost one word in the words of John. It's kind of like, sort of like a baseball swing. Now, which part of that is the swing? Oh, it's all kind of one big thing. It all goes together, the rocking and the timing, the beginning of the swing, the follow-through, the backflip, if it happens to go over the fence. It's all one thing. So is Jesus going to the Father. It's the crucifixion, the resurrection, and the ascension. It's zoop. The first few steps to the ascension are the lifting up of himself on the cross. The road to glory is the road to Calvary. It's the road that goes through Calvary. It's the road that goes into a tomb. It's the road that comes out of a tomb and goes up from there. That's the way. And so he tells his disciples, having been with them for 3 years, so you know the way. I told you this was going to happen. This is the way. You know the way, and you two are going to follow. To which Thomas, honest Thomas, says, could you do that one more time? I don't know the way. To which Thomas is called, just like we. Look at me. This is the way. Dying, rising, ascending. This is the way. Is it an easy way? No. Is it a painless way? No. Is it a way that somehow denies reality? No. It's a way that leans right into the toughest of all of our realities and leads us through. This way is so important that we actually use this passage at funerals. You know, you've heard this one, often at funerals. In my Father's house, there are many rooms. We hear that and we say, oh yeah, I heard that at maybe the funeral of a friend, maybe the funeral of a parent, maybe even, sadly, the funeral of a child. We put that there on purpose because we are trying to remind ourselves even then that the way to the Father does go through death, but never excludes resurrection and always up. It's why in the middle of that beautiful anthem that's in a burial, we say, even at the grave, we make our song, Alleluia, Alleluia, Alleluia. We know it's all a part of one piece, and at a time in which we're remembering the life of a beloved one, we say they passed through a part of that way to the Father, knowing that one day we will pass through it ourselves. The pattern of Jesus is ours. The way of Jesus is our way. It's ours. We signed up for it. When we passed through the waters of baptism, we signed up for it. When we said, yes, I will do this with God's help every time that it happens, we signed up for it. You were reminded just a few minutes ago that you signed up for it when you felt that sprinkling of the drops on you. That was a reminder of the way that you and I are a part of. I'm not just talking about the end of that way. I'm talking about the way of our lives here and now. Dying and rising become not just the ultimate arc of our lives, but it becomes how we understand our lives now. Things that die and things that rise. I'll tell a story from my own life to help illustrate this point. Once upon a time, I was a pastor in a different church. I went by a different name, was known by it as a different person, but I loved it. It was my life. And then it was gone. All gone. No vocation, the loss of even who I am, the end of a name even. It was such a disorienting time that I sunk into the deepest of depressions. The thing that I had loved, my vocation, was taken away from me. I didn't see a future for myself. To the point where I not only thought about ending my own life, I tried it. By some miracle of God, for reasons I will probably never fully understand, I was spared. I was rescued. And now look, I live. The vocation that I thought was gone has been given back to me. Not the way that I thought it was going to be, not the way that it was in the past, not even the name of the past, but something I couldn't see coming. I live. Unexpectedly, I live. That becomes a pattern for seeing our lives when relationships die, when jobs end, when periods of our life come to a conclusion, when houses are gone and when we have to go and start life somewhere else, even when churches are gone. We still look for the resurrection of the dead and the life of the world to come. It's in us to do that because no one less than God has planted that in you. And so part of what that means for us is in the midst of things dying, even when we can't see a way, even when we can't see that there's some life coming, even then, we look for the resurrection of the dead and the life of the world to come. Folks will say to me often, say, Carla, you're not as young as you used to be. You've been on this planet a day or two. You were around when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was leading the civil rights movement. What do you think of the world now, Carla? All these years later, and you still see that America is trapped in the same racism? Do you not give up, Carla? Do you not just say, you know, we tried it and it failed, it's over? How do you keep hope, Carla? How do you keep this energy and the sense of joy in you? Well, it's not because of anything I've done. It's God's own conviction living in me that says, I believe. I look for the resurrection of the dead. Carla, when you see mass shooting after mass shooting after mass shooting, don't you just want to crawl in a hole and quit? Sometimes I do. But in the midst of death, I look for the resurrection of the dead. Even when I don't know where it's coming, even though I might not even live to see it, I still look for the resurrection of the dead. It is that same faith that lives in you. God has planted it in you in baptism, feeds it week after week at this table. So really, I'm just reminding you of what you already know. The way that is our way. I'm using words just as Jesus used words to talk about what it means to live as God's beloved, even as he used his own works to display what that looked like. And the way and the words and the works, they all move together, engage with each other. Now, if you looked at the life of Jesus, maybe you would see, here he is, the way. And here he is sharing the words that we still love and honor and cherish, lift up high when we bring it in. The works, the deeds, the stuff he did that we decide that we want to do too. They're all together. Way, words, works. Way, word, works. Way, word, works. Almost feels like a little rhythm. Can't you almost hear it there? Way, word, works. Way, word, works. Way, word, works. Almost feels like a little bit of a dance, doesn't it? Way, word, works. Way, word, works. Way, word, works. Sometimes the tune might change a little bit. Works, works, way, words, wakes, words, work. Way, but it's that dance. You can feel it. We're called into it. We're dancing. Sometimes the pace picks up. Way, words work. Way, words work. Way, words work. Way, words work. And we feel that we can't keep up with all the stuff that God is doing. And then sometimes that dance slows down. Way, words work. way words work. Sometimes it becomes so quiet and still that we hardly even know that it's a dance. Way words work. Sometimes in the dance, we step on each other's feet. Ow! Or we twist an ankle and bam, there we go on the floor. And our dance partner, none other than God, reaches down and lifts us up and says, back in the dance, my beloved, back in the dance. Oh, I know. Sometimes the dance is awkward. Sometimes it looks like we're just hands and knees and feet flying all over the place, not knowing which way we're going, but the music continues. In his way, word works. Way, word works. And he keeps calling us. Sometimes those who have danced a long time leave the dance floor. Sometimes new dancers come into the dance, not yet knowing the steps, maybe still a little unsteady like toddlers on their feet, joining the dance. Way, word works. Way, word works. Way, word works. Oh, the dance, way, word works. Still the dance, way, word works. Still the dance goes on.